26 November 1976. The president of Svires is driving a Ferrari on the highway. This man is leading an important Italian construction company that builds schools and hospitals in Latin America. Usually it would take a few minutes to reach its destinations, but that very day he would never reach his headquarter. According to the hasty police report, the truck passed a second truck, obstructing the remaining free roadway and making the Ferrari crash and burn. In that deadly fire, not only the hope of that philanthropic driver burned out, but also the project of his companies, the dreams of a happy and wealthy family, now composed by a widow and his 3 orphans. That man, the Count Cesare Savoldi, happened to be my father. 2 months later, he wrote a letter entitled Act of Faith, in which he mysteriously mentioned his upcoming death, and only after the accident we realized that those few lines were a spiritual testament. How could my father know about the accident that happened just a few months later? A partial answer, perhaps, could be found in what happened 1.5 years earlier when, 11 March 1975, he signed a $40 billion agreement with the government of Peru to build 25 hospitals. One more clue can be found in what happened 6 months later, on the 30th of August 1975, when a bloody military blitz led to the command of Peru a dictator, General Francisco Morales. Among the first things that Morales did was to declare illegitimate any contract that the previous leader signed and forced the immediate return of the money given to the foreigner companies. Such a request was obviously illegal, since it requested also the money already spent in organizing the team of engineers, architects, and construction companies. The dictator did not care about the fact that almost $7 million were already gone. Nevertheless, he wanted all the money back. That's when my father dared to firmly say no, and that's why, almost 40 years from his car accident, many people still believe that, with that gesture, my father signed his death sentence. The morning of his disappearing was nothing compared to the pain that his absence brought to my family and to me. This book is an autobiographical story about the devastating consequences caused by his death, an unbridgeable lack of ethical values, either from a human or a professional point of view, generated in all those members of my family. Since that sad day, none of them had ever been able to follow any of my father's principles. This book is about my story, the story of a mother who expels the honest son to protect the dishonest one, a story of hatred between 2 brothers, similar to a couple of noble and rich Abel and Cain, a story of criminal nobility from a family getting lost for love, for money. A story that started almost 40 years ago and ended in the 9th of October 1999 when my brother was arrested, as well as my whole family. From that day, I feel ashamed to be part of a bunch of people who are more like an anti-family, and I feel better when I consider myself son of a single-child family, or even better, an orphan. But take my word if I tell you that no man can really consider himself an orphan if he's aware that his mother is still alive. Anyway, my mission today is bringing back respectability to my name, reminding myself the good things my father did, and try to counterbalance the horrible things the rest of my family did. That's why I wrote this book. That's why I'm telling you my story. I want to honor my father's memory and to shout out loud his and my honesty to the world. But I also want to remember who I really am. Despite of all my brother's hate, my sister's betrayal, and my mother's abandonment. Because I know I deserve to receive love from my parents, my only parents, and I'm talking about my father. Through my work, my music, my life, and my art, I'll do everything possible to make that man proud of me. I want to be a honest person for myself, but most of all, I want to be a good and respectable dad to deserve the love of my 3 children.